I love putting a survey together because a survey really pulls out their pain points and the problems. And if you can solve pain points and problems, people love you. I'll take all the survey answers and upload them to ChatGPT. These are the answers to the survey. And then I'll say, now recommend tools and use cases and give me examples for each one so I can solve all these problems and pain points. Boom, 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 gives it all to me. So I'm using AI every step of the way.
Today, I am very excited to be joined by Alicia Lyttle. If you don't know who she is, she's the author of ChatGPT Made Easy, a beginner's fast-track guide to mastering ChatGPT. She's also the founder of the AI Experts Club, a membership for business owners looking to improve with AI. She also hosts the AI Insights Summit, which is an online training event. And she's also founder of the International Association of AI Consultants. Alicia, welcome to the show. How you doing today?
Thank you, Michael. Honored to be here. Let me just say that. So honored to be here.
I am super stoked that you're here. Today, Alicia and I are going to explore how to get your team or your clients to embrace using AI. If you work with people and you know that they're not there yet, today's going to be the interview for you on how to get them up to speed so that your company or your subcontractors or whoever you're working with, or even your clients can embrace AI. Now, before we go there, I would love to hear your backstory. How'd you get into artificial intelligence? And start wherever you want to start. Let's hear the story.
Sure. So I've been in the digital marketing space for 24 years. This is year 24. I started when I was back in college doing my PhD. I'm a PhD dropout thanks to making money on the internet. But I first got into AI or really started paying attention to it when I spoke at an event called Walmart Tech Live. So it was at Walmart's headquarters and it was in 2017. And before my presentation, the speaker before me was 15 years old. So first of all, I looked at him like 15 years old. So I couldn't wait to hear what this 15-year-old had to say. His name is Tan May. So when Tan May got up there, he was talking about AI and he was talking about specifically IBM Watson. So back then he was an IBM consultant. IBM was paying him at 15. And so he shared about how IBM Watson beat the top Jeopardy champions in the nation. And so as we watched this AI tool playing Jeopardy, I was blown away. It was so human-like in its responses. And as the other contestants, as they were playing together, you just see this, it's like just a big computer looking thing talking in such a human-like style. I was blown away. But after I left the conference, I went and,
By the way, what year was that? Just to set the context for everybody.
This was 2017.
Okay, cool. So you keep going with the story after you left.
Yeah. So after I left, I'm like, let me go check out this IBM Watson and create some robots for myself because I'd been doing digital marketing for so long and I love tools. So when I went home to look at it, the user interface was so complicated. I could not get started with it. So my dreams of really using IBM Watson were shattered. But then tools like Jasper and Writer started to come out, RYTR, Writer. So then I started using those tools and we used it for things in our agency, for client work, for our businesses. And it was a game changer back then. But when November 2022 hit, when that time hit, on day 2, I got onto ChatGPT. So day 1, my friends were calling me and they said, you have to check this out. It's on the news. You have to check it out. I didn't do it that day. The next day, they're like, you need to sit down and check it out. So I did. And I ended up canceling all my meetings. So I was like, the next week, everything is canceled. And I just dug in. And I really loved ChatGPT as opposed to some of the other tools that we were using because you could keep going in the same workflow. You didn't have to say, all right, let me click here to make a headline. Let me click here to write the copy. Let me click here to write the email. It was like, do this, then do this, then do this. And I was like, this is the best. And it was polite to me. It's like, yes, whatever you want, I can do it for you. I'd be happy to do it for you. So I love this tool. And I was like, finally, a user interface that I can really get into and love. And it helped me to create so many things in our business. and our business started scaling and growing. And I was a speaker and trainer even back then. So November 2022, I was telling you I was speaking at Walmart Tech Live in 2017. But every event that I had after that, I said, I'm not talking about digital marketing anymore, how to start and scale an online business. I'm talking about AI. So all my presentations that I had on the calendar end of December, going into 2023, everything turned into, let me teach you about AI. And so that's really how it took off for me. And then I started to get booked a lot by corporations, nonprofits, government organizations to come and train their teams. And at first, when it first came out, everybody was skeptical. They didn't want to use AI in their business. Some of our clients were like, no, we don't want you guys using AI. Like, okay, we'll just wait for them to come around, and we'll talk about that more. But as I started to do those trainings, I just enjoyed it so much and teaching people it so much that I stopped teaching everything else. And really, it was about how can you integrate AI into your business, your career, whether you're an entrepreneur, a business owner, or a professional, it doesn't matter. This is a tool that you can use. And I started a consultant certification program so that when I couldn't take on all of these requests to come and speak or train, I would pass it on to our students. And I started a membership site you were talking about in your introduction, the AI Experts Club. And it's been AI ever since then. And I love it. I'm addicted to AI. And it's been such a game changer for me and for those that I teach.
Well, first of all, super excited that you saw this opportunity and you dove in early. And for anybody who's listening right now, we're still early, okay? I mean,
Yes.
we're not even 2 years, right? I mean, as of this recording, we're like coming up on 2 years since the ChatGPT moment that you talked about
Right.
earlier, which was November 30th or 31st, I think, 2022. So it's kind of exciting. There's still a lot of opportunity here. And there are plenty of people listening to this show who are here because maybe they're just beginning the journey.
Right.
So, what do you want to say to those people as to why they maybe should, or why a business should in general adopt artificial intelligence?
Sure, sure. So to those people who are just starting out first, and if they haven't gotten on it yet, it's likely because they have some objections. So those objections, I've seen them, they're all over the place, but it could be, oh, I'm not technical enough. I don't know how to code, right? They think you need to know how to code, or I'm scared of it. I saw on the news that robots are going to take over the world. Or if I learn this and use it in my job, am I going to lose my job? Is my boss going to say, let the AI take over? We don't need you anymore. So some people even say, I don't need to change. I've been doing it like this for a decade and I don't need to change. So stop trying to change me and teach me something. But when you start to think about AI, I always say that you should ask a question. So I always ask business a question. I ask them, I'm like, if integrating AI into your business could cut down on cost, if it could enhance your customers' experience, if it could keep you ahead of the competition, your competition's eventually going to be using it if they're not already. But we need to be ahead of our competition. If it could boost your creativity and empower your colleagues, the people that you work with, your team, would you be interested in hearing more? And everybody always answers yes to that. Of course, I want better customer experience. Of course, I want to cut costs. So then we teach them what we call the C5 framework. And in this framework, we go into all of those things. First, let's talk about how it can cut down costs. Then let's talk about how it can enhance customer experience. Let's talk about why and how it can keep you ahead of your competition. Let's talk about how it can make you more creative. Because, Michael, I get this a lot. Like people tell me AI is going to make us less creative. Humans aren't going to be using their brain anymore. We're going to be so less creative. But I say, you know what? AI is here to enhance our creativity. So I was struggling with a campaign for one of our clients, a plumber. So our company is doing social media for a plumber, and they want a back to school special. I'm like, what back to school special do you run for Bob's Plumbing in Michigan? But when I went to ChatGPT, it was so creative. And, everybody on our team was laughing at what it came up with. But of course, the plumbing company loved it, ran the campaign. All their clients thought it was creative and it got attention. So it definitely boosts creativity, especially if you think about the fact, how can I use this to enhance my creativity? And then when we talk about the last C, which is colleagues, you have to think about AI in the workplace. And whether you're an entrepreneur and you've got contractors, or maybe you have some employees, or you're in the professional setting and you have, colleagues that you work with, or you're a business owner and you have a team, like putting it as a tool for the people in the workplace to use ends up being such a game changer for them. Our team, they're happier. They've got tools that they can use that help them get the job done quicker, more efficient, and easier than ever before. So that's really the framework that we work within. And then we can provide examples. Let's talk about costs. Let's talk about, and so we can provide examples. And I often provide case studies of either my business or a business that we've worked with and how it's decreased costs. So when I talk about costs, we used to pay the stock photo sites in our agency almost $1,500 a month for stock photos. Our clients didn't really like the stock photos. We'd have to hire photographers to take unique photos. But now with AI, we're spending $200 a month on photos because we're using tools like Midjourney and Ideogram and ChatGPT to generate our images. So when I can show a business owner, an entrepreneur, that the cost savings, it's measurable impact, it saves time, it saves money, then people start to listen. So whenever I'm training or you're trying to get, adoption of AI and integration, you got to break it down to what the business owners care about, what the professionals care about, what the entrepreneurs care about.
So what I heard you say, and I want to come back to address some of these objections, because some of the people that are listening are going to face these objections and we want to
Sure.
give them something tangible. But what I heard you say is, hey, here's the upside. It can cut down on costs. That's the
Yeah.
first C. It can
Right.
enhance the customer experience. That's the second C.
That's
It can
right.
give you a competitive edge of some sort. That's the third C.
Right.
It can boost your creativity, and it can also help your colleagues interact together.
That's
Now,
right.
back to the objections a little bit.
Okay.
Let's start with, I don't need to change. Like, the people that are listening already know that there's an upside, but they might have to deal with someone inside the company who
That's
says,
right.
I don't need to change. So let's just give them something to say
Sure.
in response to that when someone says, I'm just fine with my existing process.
Right. So if they say they're just fine with their existing process, I will ask them what their existing process is. And then I will give them solutions that they didn't even think about were possible with AI. So a great example is I was doing work with a publishing company. I was brought in to use AI to enhance them. And this lady was like, nope, I've been doing it like this for 20 years. I'm not going to change. And she was writing author bios and author book descriptions. And with the certain amount of clients that she was given every week, it took her 35 hours to do that. So I'm like, okay, show me your process. I'm not arguing with her. I'm just saying, show me your process of what you do. So she showed me her process. It was send an email out, get people to, fill out the email, answer back all the questions, and then sit here and think about it and write up the bio or the book description based on the answer. So what I did was I used a tool called FormWise. I don't know if you know FormWise, but I love it.
No.
And yeah, and so it's like a form. So think of it like a just a Google form or a form that you would fill in. So instead of sending them an email, she sent them a form. They answered the same question they would answer on an email on a form. So they answered all the questions and then they press submit. And that's all they see. It says, thank you for submitting. But on the back end, I wrote a prompt to write the book description, or if it was the bio, to write the bio. So all she had to do was go in the back office, approve it, download it, and send it on to the next person. So we changed her 35 hours a week into 3 hours. Significant, 35 to 3. And she said, of course, it was trained on, how they like their book descriptions done and how they like their bios done at that company. But she said it was writing it better than her. Everything that was done was better than her. And so, of course, she had a little bit of fear now that it's doing this so fast. But what her boss did was they opened up the doors to have more clients come in. So she can do 5 times the clients now that they could do before, which has allowed the company to scale and to make more money. So her boss is so happy with her right now. her boss doesn't know the process. She doesn't know what we created. She doesn't care. She just loves the results that it's generating. So I'll look at the process, what's taking up time, see how we can create an AI solution around it. There's always a tool out there that can do something for them. And then
I love
then
it.
they're like, okay, I like it. I like it.
So, okay, let me clarify what I'm hearing you say. If anybody who is facing objections as they're starting to employ AI across the company, what I'm hearing you recommend is ask them, hey, show me your process. And then maybe come back to them after giving it a little bit of thought and show them a way that it can be done better with
Absolutely.
artificial intelligence, which makes the total sense. What
Yeah.
about the people that say, I'm not technical?
Yeah.
How do we address those people?
Right. So I dealt with this actually yesterday. And what I did for this group was I opened up ChatGPT and I just talked to it. And I just did a brain dump that had a lot of ums in it. It's like, I want to create a business plan for and I just went off and we pressed go and ChatGPT did the job. So they're like, you don't have
You
to.
actually spoke to it with your voice is what you mean,
Yes,
right? You
and they're
just
all, yeah,
okay.
with my voice, and they're all, so you can either use a tool called voice control for ChatGPT, or if you're a Mac user, ChatGPT has the voice function, or show it on your phone or your iPad where it has the voice
Right.
function. And so when I did that, everybody was like, what in the world is going on? We didn't know that's how you could use these AI tools. And I can show them how to do that on some other tools. So I'm like, you don't even have to type. And I had my hands up and I was speaking it out and they could see it being written as I spoke it out. And we pressed go and it did a great job. And then I said, okay, analyze this and tell me what can make it better. What do you need from me data wise to make it better? And it analyzed and asked me these questions. And people are now saying, that's something I could do. I could talk to a tool and it do all the work for me. So I bring it down to the easiest form of how they can use the AI tool so they can actually see themselves in it. Oh, now I see that I can do that. That's something I can do. So I'll ask the question, could you click on that microphone and talk? Everybody says yes. I said, well, that's all you need. That's all you need to know. Just say
Perfect.
what you want and just keep talking. And they do it and it works. So for this company, we did a 1 day challenge where they can't type anything into these two AI tools that we were showing them, ChatGPT. It's just a talk to ChatGPT day. And so that they get into the habit of using ChatGPT and just doing the voice controls, which was a game changer for so many of them.
Okay, the last one I want to talk about before we get into some of the meat that we have planned is the it's going to take my job
Yeah.
concern, right?
Right.
How do you
Right.
address that? Because I'm sure it comes up a lot for you.
It does. It does come up a lot. And the truth is, ChatGPT is going to take some jobs. Absolutely. It's, documented well. But what I show them is just a very well known quote. And I'm like, ChatGPT, or AI in general. AI is not going to take your job, but it's the person using AI that will. And do you think that in the time that we're in right now, it's important for you to get upskilled and learn AI? So if you now could use AI in the job function that you have, would you be a more valuable employee? And everybody's like, yes, yes, I think so. Yes. So, could your job still needs a human to do different aspects of it. Your boss still wants a human in that role, but it needs to be a human that's using AI. And if I could show you an easy way to get started. And so, that's how I usually get people past that job security. They still might have a little bit of fear, but at least they're saying, well, at least I know that if I upskill myself, I would be more valuable in this role. And then, if I am let go from this job with my upskilled AI knowledge, I can easily go get another one. Because what are the most popular jobs out there right now that companies are hiring for globally? They're AI jobs.
Yeah,
That's
it's interesting. I've listened to a lot of different podcasts, and I think it was Malik is the guy's last name, and
okay.
he's a professor. I can't remember where he teaches, Stanford or something like that. Ethan Malik, I think is his name, said that he encourages his students to, when they apply for a job, actually to use AI to show that everything about that job could be completely automated, and he said that whoever it was that said this said that his students are getting hired almost instantly because they're providing so much more value
Right.
to the employer than the employer thought, because they're getting someone who understands how to use this new technology to do so much more. And my take on this is, hey, if your productivity could double, triple, quadruple, what would that mean to your customer or your employer?
Right.
Or if you had more time to analyze things or to get creative, what would that make possible for your value proposition? And I think the
Yeah.
more we start thinking about the unlock that happens here, and the more we can tell analogies about, well, in the olden days before this technology came out, how did the internet help you become a better employee? How did
Right.
these things help you? Right? You just start telling enough analogies and you're going to get somewhere. So
Right.
let's assume that
Yeah.
we're now at a spot where someone listening to this is about to go um, try to get some of the very first steps of what they need to do
Yep.
to get someone to say a yes adopting AI. And I
Sure.
think we've kind of indirectly answered this through some of the examples, but I
Sure.
just want to reiterate it. Like, we're about to start, and I want to go to my boss, or I want to go to the president or CEO or customer or whatever. What's the first thing we need to be thinking about
Right.
to get someone to take a yes?
Right. So to get them to take a yes, you need to actually show them. So it's all about visuals. You need to wow them. You need to get them to say, "What in the world did you just show me?" So if you can wow them, you're pulling them in to ask more questions, and they'll often say, "Show me that again. How did you do that again? I need that." So I like to find out what people are doing. So if somebody's doing presentations a lot, I'll say, "How long does it take you to do a presentation usually?" They'll say, "I don't know, 4 hours to 2 weeks." So, what if I could show you how to do it in 30 seconds? You just have to give me one sentence on what the presentation's about. So, it's for me, the most important thing is dramatic demonstrations and examples. I want to blow your mind with what AI can do. And my goal,
Tell us that presentation example. Like, what do you do
yeah, sure.
with that? Just so people can maybe try that on their side as well.
Yeah, sure. So, there's a tool called Gamma.app, GAMMA.app, and it's a great presentation tool. And I also love it because you can get started for free, making presentations for free. So on Gamma.app, there, once you log in, they ask you what type of presentations you want to create. So
Hmm.
do you have an outline you want to give me? Do you want to give me one sentence, or do you want to upload a file? So I always pick the middle one because it's the biggest wow. So I'll give you one sentence and you create it. So I'll give it one sentence, and, you know, I'll ask somebody in the audience or, we ask a boss or whoever, what do they need to create a presentation on? They tell you what it is, and you type it in, just one sentence, push go, and you see it generate an outline. And they're like, "Wow, that was fast. 10 seconds, an outline's generated." And then the next step is that you pick a theme. So you're like, "Okay, I like this blue theme." And so it's going to create a PowerPoint for you. So you pick the blue theme. And then I always tell people to pull out their watch and we're going to time this. So we'll say, "All right, time it." And then I'll press go and I'll say, "Okay, start your timer." So they're timing it. 30 seconds later, the presentation's done. It's created the slides, then it's created AI images to go on the slides. It's completed the layout of how the PowerPoint should look. It's created all the content for you. So now you're like, "What in the world?" This presentation was created in 30 seconds. And then I'll go through the slides with them. "Does this sound right? Does this?" And they're like, "Yes. How did it know? How did it know?" So it's an amazing AI tool. And then I just show them how they can download it to PowerPoint and make any changes that they want, either in Gamma or PowerPoint. And that is a tool that always, always blows people's minds when they watch me do that.
I love it.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing you say is step one is to know your audience well enough to know that there might be something that they do that they find exceptionally painful or time
Right.
consuming, and then
Yeah.
figure out a way to demonstrate it to them live on the spot. And generally what happens after they see that? They're open to what? I mean, tell me, what's the experience typically after you do
Yeah.
something like this?
So they're open to it. They want to try it. They're like, "What else do you have to show me? This was good. What's the next one? Keep going." So then I find something else that they're doing to show them another example. So by knowing them, knowing who I'm presenting to, knowing who the audience is, I can pick the right tools and examples. So for example, I was doing an event for speakers. So I told Gamma to give me a presentation for introverts on 4 tips to becoming a more confident speaker and why it's important. And so Gamma then called that presentation The Power of Confident Speaking for Introverts. Great name. And then as I went through it all with the speakers, they were like, that's excellent. And then they asked me to send it to them. Could you send me the PowerPoint so I can use it? So I send it to them, but they really have to see themselves in that solution and using it. So I always make sure that it is as ideal as we can get for that audience, and it gives them a really good example. And then I keep moving on, either other examples or we start talking about time. So the reason I have them time themselves, I'm like 30 seconds with Gamma. So let's talk about time savings. You said it would take you 4 hours to 2 weeks to do this presentation, that it took you, that we saw done in 30 seconds. So are you curious about more AI tools that we can bring in that can save time like this for you? So that always will get you a yes. Who's not interested in time savings, right? Ask them, now that you've got those, that 4 hours back, what are you going to do with that time? And so we start to get them to think of not just cost savings, but also time savings, because that's so important to us. We can't get our time back. And once we spend it, we can't get it back. So people are always interested in the fact that AI can save us time. It's measurable impact with time.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're starting with some sort of a wow experience, and not everybody's going to be in front of a live audience. Most of them are going to be one-on-one, typically, I would presume. And you show off that experience, and then once they get wowed by it, which they should, then it sounds like the next step is to ask them, what are some other areas where you are doing tasks that take a lot of time?
Right.
And not everybody's going to have tools in their tool chest like you do that they can just pull out. So let's equip the audience with like what should they do after they get, okay, I'm interested, I want to learn more? Are we talking about like putting a survey together? Because we're dealing with people that don't do what you do. Like, how do we help the listener here identify what their next step should be?
Yeah. So I love putting a survey together because a survey really pulls out their pain points and the problems. And if you can solve pain points and problems, people love you. So I will put together a survey with some sample questions. And of course, I don't do it by myself, but I will use ChatGPT or Perplexity.ai, one of my other favorite AI tools. And I'll say, this is the audience, this is what they do. Help me come up with survey questions that address things that take up their time, things they don't enjoy doing, or, come up with a question. So it'll come up with the questions for that specific audience. And then I will send them a survey. I just use Google Forms to send them a survey. But once you do that, so they distribute the survey to their employees or the people that are going to be in the audience, or if it's just one-on-one, they fill out the survey, get you that information back. Now you can recommend the solutions. And it's not always knowing what tools, well, we can talk about tools, but it's not always knowing exactly what tools to use, because you can even go to AI and say, these are the survey results. Give me some tools that can solve these problems. So I'll take all the survey answers and upload them to ChatGPT, and I'll explain. So the first thing I always do is train ChatGPT. This is the company. These are the answers to the survey. I'm going to give you 20 surveys. You'll see the questions and the answers, compile the data and give me a summary for each question. So it'll do something like that. And then I'll say, now recommend tools and use cases and give me examples for each one so I can solve all these problems and pain points. Boom, 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 gives it all to me. So I'm using AI every step of the way. I don't sit there myself and think of the survey questions. I don't analyze the results myself. I don't come up with all the solutions myself. I'm using AI to help me with all that as well.
This is really interesting on so many different dimensions. Some people listening to this might already maybe they are like me and they're the CEO of the company, or maybe they've got people working for them and they kind of know what tasks people do that take a lot of time.
Yeah.
And but not everybody's going to know. For example, what does a person who works for a media company who's responsible for publishing articles and podcasts and YouTube videos and newsletters, what are some of their big struggles? You, like you said, could go to ChatGPT and ask it. And my guess is it would probably say, well, some of the most time consuming tasks are probably taking a video, watching the video, and then discerning what parts of it are the most important parts so that you can make other content out of it. Obviously, I know
Right.
this because that's what we do as a company. But
Right.
but somebody might not know this, right? So you come up with the questions, or you take a first stab at a survey. And by the way, I've done a lot of survey work,
Okay.
and it's true. I do ask ChatGPT, like, hey, here's a question, a multiple choice question. How would you change it? And it will say, it rewrites it for me. Then I'll
Yeah.
say, which of these is unlike the others? And it will say, you know what? This one seems to be a subset of this one. I would remove that.
Oh, wow.
Or I'll say, what am I missing? And it'll say, you know, you might want to add this. And it's just kind of, and I tell it, by the way, you are an expert survey creator. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
Right.
and I just use it to massage individual questions because
Yeah.
this is my craft, you know. But I love the idea that you could use ChatGPT to A, come up with the ideas, to B, come up with the variables for the questions, the choices that people are going to have, and to help it to just like massage it, massage it, massage it, and then boom, throw it into a Google survey or Survey Monkey or whatever your tool of choice is, and then bada bing, you just tell people, please take this survey. So and so has asked that we gather this information so we can help identify some of the struggles that you face. They don't even need to know you're doing it for artificial intelligence
That's
on the
right.
first
That's right.
round, right?
That's right. That's right.
And then I love that you're using it to do the analysis. One thing that I would recommend people do is to remove personally identifiable information. Like
Absolutely.
when you export these things out of Google spreadsheets or whatever, you want to delete their name and email address because you don't want that stuff put up into the large language models and
Right.
stuff like that.
And
So,
it's, I
yeah,
was
go
going to say
ahead.
it's easy to do it in the spreadsheets as well. So
Right.
you can easily do find and replace, and then
Or
you
hide
have your notes,
columns.
right?
Yeah.
And you have your notes on person one is Julie, and so you've got your notes to the side that will tell you that sort of thing. And we also, depending on the model that you're using, we're also using the levels that have the highest security. Not everybody can do that, but even in the ChatGPT free level, turn off, go into your settings and go into the general, and it says there's a setting. Oh, data controls. In data controls, it says, do you want to turn this off? And we won't use, if you turn this off, the content you put in won't be used to train the model. So I always turn that off when I'm doing work as well. We have ChatGPT teams and Copilot, the enterprise version. So, we've got a little bit higher security, but just for even the free ChatGPT, turn off that button right there inside of data controls to give you a little bit more security when you're doing these things.
When we were prepping, you mentioned something about a press release
Yeah,
writing story that you wanted to share.
sure.
Can you share that example with us?
Yeah, sure. So we were working with a PR company and they wanted to speed up their press release time to create a press release. So it takes about 2 to 3 hours for them to create a press release, this person who was doing it on their team. So I said, absolutely. So I have two things, a press release bot, and I also have FormWise, a chat GPT. And I also have FormWise, that's a form that you can fill in to create a press release. But once you either answer the questions in the GPT or you fill out the form in FormWise, that takes 5 minutes and you press go. 40 seconds later, the press release is done. And because the PR company said, oh, we need statistics always in the first paragraph, there has to be some 5,000 people attended the summit, something like that in the first paragraph. So they gave me the way that they wanted it done. And they're like, we usually make up the quote from the person and then ask them to approve it. So I said, make up the quote. So now they went from 2 to 3 hours to maybe 6 minutes to write a press release. So the amount of press releases they can write now at a very high level, according to their standards, it was just mind blowing for them. So now they were able to, just like how the publishing company was able to open the doors to more clients, they're able to open the doors to more clients. So these solutions allow businesses to scale regardless of their size when they implement the right solution.
So a couple things you said. It sounds like you have built a custom GPT, which we've covered on this show before, and you kind of trained it up on specifically how to write a press release for this particular client. You
Yes.
mentioned this thing Formwise. Is this something
Yeah.
you created that behind the scenes does something, or is that a tool? What is that
Yeah,
exactly?
it's a tool. So Formwise is a just an AI tool. And if you think about a survey or a form, it's really a form. You ask questions. So you ask questions, the person answers those questions. And the prompt on the back end that you write and put there says, you are a press release writer with 23 years of experience. Create a
Ah,
press release that has, and then you put answer one. So answer one, or you put, the answer to question one, which is usually it says question one. And then so you're writing the prompt, but you're dropping in where you want the
I
prompt
love
to
that.
pull in those answers, and then you press go. And there's two ways that you can do it. One is forward facing. So after they fill out the form, they can see the answer. So that would be something usually internal. And the other is the person fills out the form and it just says, thank you for submitting. And then you get it on the back end. So that's in the case of the publishing company. We didn't want the customer to see a bot. We want them to think that we're asking them these questions. They're filling it out just as they would fill out an email, but this time it's a form. And then we're working hard on the back end to create this book description where really the prompt is working to create the book description, but they don't see that. So, you never give it back to them right away. Wait 2 days to give it to them, but the prompt does the work on the back end for you. So it's a tool that it's formwise.ai. It's a tool that I love. And I was using this because GPTs weren't even out back then. And then also for client work, they don't want their customer to see what happens when they fill out the form. They don't want to see that the AI is doing all the work because you're like, well, I don't need you. The AI just wrote the book description.
Very fascinating. So on this journey we've been going on this interview, we started with first figure out a way to wow
Yeah.
some important person. And we talked about the example of the PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah.
Then we talked about identify the really time consuming tasks that are going on with the team that you're trying to communicate with. You can do that through surveys, and we spent a lot of time talking about that. And then I'm imagining we're going to get into some more tools in just a minute here, but after you've gotten all that data back, you already mentioned that the AI can help you analyze that data to
Yeah.
try to see opportunities maybe where AI could come to assist, and even maybe recommended tools that AI that the company could employ. And I
Yes.
would imagine you take that back to the person who's the decision maker and you say, here's what the data shows. Here's what some things that we could experiment with. Are you willing to run a trial? And at that point, once you get a yes on a trial, you're kind of off to the races. Is that generally how it goes?
Yep, that's right. And so I'm a consultant. So then they say, how much is this going to cost? And I say, it's going to cost $9,000 for training. And they say, let's go. And we talk about scaling the business. So you take them to that level. But if you're, working in an office, your boss will say, so what do we need to do? And you'll say, I'm going to put together a training and train the team. So it just depends on, where you're taking this, but absolutely. So the next step really is in implementing it. And that could mean a whole lot depending on where you are. But I love to say, all right, so now we need to see how we're going to, are we training the team? What's the next steps for you? They usually don't know. So I'll make the suggestion for them. So let's do a 1 hour
Love it.
training session, bring people on, and we can solve some problems.
Outstanding. And I love that. I mean, training is the obvious next step, right? Which
Yes.
is to go and either do it, ideally do it in a group and have everybody with their computers in front of them and teach them. And I would imagine you could do it in person or virtually.
Yes.
So there's a bunch of tools that we haven't mentioned yet. We've mentioned a lot, but we
Yes.
mentioned Gamma and we mentioned Formwise, but there's a bunch of other tools that we talked about that you thought would be worthy of talking about. So let's share some of your insights on some of the best tools that you
Sure.
love working with and kind of a little bit about why you like working with each of these tools.
Sure. So, Microsoft Copilot, and these are in no particular order. Microsoft Copilot, I like showing how to use this tool when it comes to training in a government organization or government contractors that serve the government. because Microsoft 365 integrates with Copilot, and government organizations are already uh, like cleared to use Microsoft 365. It passes their security measures. So that's why Copilot is on my list, because I do a lot of government training and government contractors. And it is a good tool as well. And then on Microsoft 365, it integrates with the slides, it integrates with your Word doc, like it integrates with all of these documents now, which is really cool. The next one is and this is usually for entrepreneurs or smaller businesses that are using ChatGPT. I always demonstrate ChatGPT, and it's because it's the most like popular. Everybody has heard of Chat. Not everybody. Okay, a lot of people have heard of ChatGPT on the news. They've heard it, even if they haven't ever opened it up or looked at it. They've heard of it, so they're curious. So we're talking about ChatGPT. So I usually will show a business ChatGPT teams, because they are, and you talked about this, like they're interested in the security and privacy. So Teams has that next level of security and privacy where it's like anything done on Teams, we do not use that content to train our models. You're paying for that. So, and then I show them how they can add their team members, because that's what we use. So we show them we show them that. Then the next tool that I love that will blow everybody's mind is called HeyGen. So HeyGen is, I use it, it does a lot of things, but I use it for dramatic demonstrations. And so I do it for video cloning. So I teach people, like, I can create a clone of myself, my physical self, by using this tool. And I like to show them all you have to do is hold your phone out, record yourself for 2 minutes, move your head, move your hands, and then they create the AI avatar. The software creates this AI avatar of you. And I've used this AI avatar for my social media. I've used this for training modules, and I'll show them examples. And they cannot believe that that person talking in the video, which is me, is not me. I didn't record any of that. So I show them how I type in the script, press go, and that's me talking, but I didn't say any of that. So HeyGen will always blow minds, always.
And real quick, just in
Yeah.
case people misinterpret the spelling, it's GEN, not
Right.
JEN on
Thank
Hey
you.
Jen. All
Yeah,
this time I thought it was Hey Jen, as if you're
Jen.
talking to someone named Jen, but it's
Right.
Hey Jen as in generation or whatever,
Right,
right? So
generation, right.
yeah. So okay, that's cool. Keep going.
Yeah, so it's really great. So a lot of our onboarding or just different trainings that I have in my different courses are done with my AI avatar, because I don't always have my hair done, so I can't always get in front of the camera. Don't feel like it. And then I show them like how to create their AI avatar, the video creation, and also video translation. So there's other companies now that are doing great video translation, but HeyGen does it quick and easy. So I'll take a video and then I'll translate it into 5 or 6 different languages, and then I'll just cut it and put them back to back using CapCut or something, or Canva, and put these videos back to back. But I always say, before AI, I could only speak one language, but after AI, with AI, I can now speak 100 languages. And people are like, no, you can't. It's like, don't believe me? Let me show you. So I show them this video, and it's me starting off in English. And then I go to Spanish, and it says Spanish on the screen, and the captions are still in English, but they're seeing me talk in Spanish. And then I'm talking in Japanese and Hindi and Polish, and they're seeing all these just for a few seconds. And with HeyGen, your mouth moves, my accent changes. It's my same voice, but I have a Japanese accent now. It's mind blowing. So I've used this with clients too, who've wanted to have their training or their instructions in different languages, and it's very, very cost effective to do. Then I love 11 Labs. So I use 11 Labs for voice cloning. And you've talked about that on the show as well. And I love 11
Just
Labs.
explain what it is for people that
Yeah.
don't know what voice cloning means.
Yeah. So voice cloning is what you do with 11 Labs, is that you record yourself speaking, and then it will create a clone of your voice. And so just a tip on doing the voice cloning with 11 Labs. If your voice doesn't sound, you're like, that doesn't sound like me. It's probably because you're uploading audio files that you've already had on your computer, but instead I go to my microphone and I intentionally record what I want my AI voice to sound like. So
Hmm.
my AI voice, she's more enthusiastic. So when I sat down, I'm like, hey, it's Alicia, and welcome to this episode. So, I made sure that my AI voice was how I wanted it to sound, so that it would sound good on social media, my members only podcast, those type of things. But I mean, you can go in there and get other voices, other AI voices, but the real gem is using it to clone your own voice and then using that for the different things that you're doing in your business and your job, those type of things. So I love 11 Labs that it also does audio translation. So it can translate your podcast episode or whatever you have into another language just like that. So it's got that. And then it also does sound effects. So you can tell it that you want a sound effect of people clapping, then a dog barking, and then wind chimes. It'll create all these unique sound effects for you. So it's really a great tool for content generation with your voice. And then I love Pictory.ai. So Pictory it has different use cases, but what I use it the most for is script to video. So
Okay.
walking through, let's say I'm going to do a training, I will write the script in ChatGPT. So I'll tell ChatGPT, write a script, da, 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 da. So, and I always say, write a script that I can read on camera, because when you add when I can read on camera, it gives you a script that is more personalized to speech. So I like to do that. So write a script that I can read on camera, and then whatever I want to script about. Copy that script, and I put it into Pictory. And they have this text to video. And so it's generating the video. What it does is the AI looks for the words in that script and it will find videos that match that. So if it says neural networks, it'll go out and find a video of neural networks that you can, so it puts it all together based on dogs barking. It's going to have a video of dogs barking. So these aren't AI generated videos. These are from Getty Images, Shutterstock, those type of things that you can use. So Pictory has the license for you to use these. And then at the same time, I'm putting that same exact script in 11 Labs to generate my AI voice. So the video's generating here, my AI voice is here. And then in Pictory, after the video's done, you can edit it, swap out videos. I'll put some videos of me throughout it. That's that type of thing to personalize it. And then I just upload my AI voice from 11 Labs and the two sync up. So if the video in Pictory is 10 minutes long, but the audio is 7 minutes long, which happens, when you put the two together, they will be 7 minutes. So it syncs up. It's magical. And the captions are on the screen. It's great. So we use that a lot. And if I'm teaching anyone who does content creation of any type, they love that example. Then I use Gamma.app. And that's the presentation design that we talked about. Always a game changer. I love Perplexity.ai. I call it the Google killer because once you go to Perplexity for your research, it brings you back, not only the answer to your question, but 20 sources of where it got the answer. So after every paragraph, it's like, here's the sources to where I got that answer. And you can pull them up. They're also on the sidebar. So people love Perplexity, especially in businesses, because, they need to do market research, all type of research. And it's really good tool. You don't have to scroll through pages of Google, and Perplexity will do like 4 searches at the same time. So it'll take whatever you give it and it will rephrase it. And so if you think about going to Google and typing in a search and then opening up a new tab and typing in a search and opening up a new tab, it's doing all of that at the same time, doing all this deep dive research. So I love it.
Huh. Wow.
And and then Ideogram, so IDEO gram.ai. It's an amazing image generator. So 8 times out of 10, it will also get the words right on the image that you want to create, which is hard to do on a lot of these AI image sites. It's grown so much over time, but it's so good. If I need words on an image, I'm using Ideogram, and they've really improved over time. And then I mentioned formwise.ai. So that's one that I use a lot for client work. And so formwise.ai is a game changer when it comes to being a tool as well. So that's really my select tool stack, the tools that we're using in our business. We call our business an AI first business. So anyone on my team that has to get something done, they have to ask themselves, what AI tool can I use to get this done? First, before they do anything else, that's the question that they have to answer, because I want them using AI tools, all AI tools. So, we selected our tool stack. We might use others, but those are our main ones that we use.
Alicia, Lyttle, this has been really insightful, especially all these great tools you shared at the end. I'm sure
Thank
a lot of
you.
people are like copiously taking notes. If people want to connect with you on the socials, where do you want to send
Sure.
them? And if
Sure.
they want to reach out to your company, where would they go?
Yeah. So the easiest place is my website, which is alicialyttle.com, which is spelled Alicia Little, Lyttle.com. So little with a Y. I know it's odd. And then if you just go to the contact tab, you can always contact me. I also have my book, ChatGPT Made Easy. That's for free on that site. So you can look up at the top and grab that book for free. And then I also tell people always connect with me on LinkedIn. So if you're on LinkedIn, connect with me there. I love, the ease of connecting with people on LinkedIn. So, but I'm on every social media platform, so you can find me all over the place. And yeah, that's easiest way, alicialittle.com or on LinkedIn or any social network.
Alicia, thank you really like a ton for answering all my questions today. I'm sure that a lot of people are taking a lot from this today. Thank you again.
Thank you. Bye.